Greetings to the Lunar Matrix. This is Elizabeth Shermer with an intuitive reading for the Lunar Matrix on Thursday, January 24th. Today's reading is in anticipation of Saturday's full moon, which arrives at 8:38 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 26th. This is an incredibly important week. In the context I'll give today is relating to the week that we're moving out of, this week of the first quarter moon, which has all been about holding our vision of the truth of what's coming, even though it hasn't appeared in form. And the full moon reading I'm about to give is embedded in the awareness of what we've come from and what we're going to. This full moon is the last moon of the dragon year of 2012, and an opportunity for us to anchor our convictions and our confidence and our sense of personal authority for what we are here for, and our intentions for what is to come, our intentions on the most basic level to fully participate in all that is unfolding. So it's big picture and also very practical, because we need to show up in practical ways in order to access the big picture, if that makes sense. So what I'd like to say today in preface, before I dive into the reading, is that the astrological chart for the full moon shows a special opportunity this week to go to the next level of claiming our power, our authenticity, and our life purpose. And the way we'll do that, and the way we're being supported this week, is to release old patterns by accessing new solutions and forgiving ourselves for the past. And in doing so, we can access new solutions to release old patterns or transform them. So we don't need to worry about carrying forward old business. So that's the first point, is releasing old business and realizing that there's a fresh start available now. And then also another theme this week is to commit to being fully present to our highest potential, to claim that. And in doing so, in claiming that, we'll have access to such gifts of light and energy from Source. You can imagine a waterfall falling into your head of all the gifts available as you can claim your willingness to be present. And in doing so, you'll access new levels of creativity and new experiences of support within your larger group or grid. So, two things I want to say again before I begin the reading are that this is embedded in the context of last week's energies. And so if you didn't have a chance to look at last week's first quarter moon reading, I highly recommend it. I worked with that reading personally every day, and it created such a powerful framework for what's unfolding in my own life and in the life of the clients and individuals I worked with this past week. I think both that reading and this reading are really powerful tools that we can access for several weeks to come in moving forward into the new energies. So I recommend that you check out the reading from last week to give a context for what's coming this year. And then also, what was the other tool that I wanted to give you? Oh, at the end of this reading, I'll be giving you suggestions for a full moon ceremony. So I also want to encourage you to make some sort of formal, it only needs to be 10 minutes, but set aside some formal time this weekend or in the early days of next week to anchor your intentions in the light of the full moon. So now, having said all that, let's dive into the reading, which is unbelievably powerful today. The central card in the position of awareness is the Magician. The Magician always represents initiation, some sort of initiation, a birth of new energy, a birth of new potential, and with it the potential for us to participate in manifesting something new. So the Magician is the number one card in the deck. And so as the number one, it represents energy before it's come into form. It's associated with sound and communication traditionally, because communication, spoken words or written words, are the way, language is the way that energy comes into form before even it makes itself manifest in the physical plane. So it's the principle of new thoughts, new ideas, new visions appearing. So we're in this huge energy field of new potential. We can all feel it. So what do we do with that? The card in the position of body today is the Seven of Swords, futility. Now, this card was the central card in the position of awareness in last week's reading, and it's moved into body now. What that means, the Seven of Swords, futility, represents new awareness, new inspiration, new ideas. However, they're not in form. And so we're moving, the sevens are about movement, and we're moving into new realms, and perhaps the forms aren't here yet. And so what this does is create a feeling of futility because we have to trust in something that we don't yet see. So the Seven of Swords, futility, moving into the body means that we now this week may even be experiencing physical symptoms of futility, feeling anxious, or looking in our life and saying, how can I believe this energy of inspiration and these waves of vision that I'm feeling when I don't see it in my life? I look around and it's not here. So realize that potential exists. When the futility is turned around, it becomes your awareness of how to hold the paradox of the truth of something that hasn't come to form. There's special support from Source this week, or from Spirit, and the card is the Fool. So to receive the Fool and the Magician, the 0 and the 1 card in Tarot, in one reading is an incredible message that we are indeed in a new place. We're standing at a new threshold. And so we know that the solstice, the winter solstice, represented a birth of new light. Well, in some senses, we're now standing in a place where we're experiencing that new potential ourselves personally at a new level. The Fool is the Magician is an initiation of something new. The Fool is source energy before the initiation has even happened. It's the full, pure potential of all that exists. And having said that, the Fool can also bring up feelings of chaos because there's no form yet. It's the fullest potential. And so one of this card in this deck, I believe this painting is so powerful because some cards portray the Fool as a jester on a path. The traditional image of a joker is the derivation of the Fool. However, the Thoth deck shows the Fool as an incredibly strong, resilient being who's fully available to participate in this new birth of potential. And even surrounded by the snake, draped with the snake, the Ouroboros, which is the symbol of the year that's coming now in a few days. So it's the Fool standing strong and willing to be foolish in the sense of releasing old ideas of reality in order to be available for something that hasn't even perhaps yet come into our awareness. Holding this card in the position of Spirit is saying to us today that this can be a very uncomfortable place to be. And right now there's support for us to maintain our own position of strength and solidity and trust by just asking for help. So the reading today signifies that this point where we're poised could either make us incredibly uncomfortable, or it could access the deepest inspiration and vision that we've ever known in our lives. And so I drew a 4th card asking if there's anything else to consider or any other additional guidance to help us hold this powerful place where we stand. And the 4th card is the Ace of Cups, the gift of love, the gift of new emotional fulfillment, the sense of being held and cared for. Aces always represent a gift, and in this case, as the culmination of this reading, it indeed represents a blessing that we have available to us if we're able to trust and show up we will experience blessings and new gifts and new realities that perhaps we've never even dreamed of. So in the light of all the uncertainty that may be coming up for you, remember that you really can access trust and the strength and confidence of your ability to be present. What you know is true in the inner realms. What we have available to us now are the inner realms. And so to access your trust and strength and confidence, you need to go within, claim your own authority, and then you too will receive the gift and the blessing of love. And I'm seeing it like a blanket surrounding us so that we can feel the inspiration and eagerness and excitement of what's coming. So mentioning all of that, I want to give you a couple of suggestions for a full moon ceremony that you could do this month, this weekend, or in the early days of next week. And that is to access these feelings of inspiration. So you could sit either yourself or with at least another person to expand the manifesting potential. And to each other, acknowledge the power of the moment, the creative potential that exists for new ideas, new inspirations, new visions. And spontaneously share what drops in. Or if you're sitting by yourself, do automatic writing or speak into a tape recorder to share the visions of what you see. Let those creative ideas flow. Feel light. See or experience light pouring in through the top of your head like a refreshing waterfall. And that light coming through the Fool and the Magician represents the gift of new visions, new energies, new potentials. And then share this experience of power as it flows through you. Feel the creative power of your ideas. You may want to even write down some simple practical actions you can take in the next few days to help to anchor those visions. And also write down the long-term visions you see for the year. You may want to put these in a special place if you have an altar, or post them by your desk or in your bedroom so you can see and feel the beauty of the visions that you see coming for you and for your community and for our celebration of as a planet as a whole. This is an amazing time. I have been feeling eagerness for this full moon for many days, and the eagerness is building. So I'll be working with the energies of these teachers, these cards, and the beings and the guidance that comes through the cards as I prepare myself and celebrate myself this weekend with my community. So I end the reading today with blessings for all who are listening, and with the highest intentions for love and light and the adventure that we will share together in this coming year. This is Elizabeth Shermer with the Lunar Matrix.